Hello and welcome to another fabulous podcast series, Meet the Tech Titans, right here on PodHub, which is brought to you by Hutch. And a big thank you for Hutch for coming on board for this phenomenal podcast series where we speak to influential voices in the tech industry, in the digital world industry, and of course speaking to them on the expertise and of course on their speciality in what they do in Sri Lanka. Some of them not necessarily in Sri Lanka, some of them of course have expanded their horizons and have parked themselves in different countries, expanding Sri Lankan products wherever. And a big thank you also going out to Liquid Spaces, our official venue partner for Meet the Tech Titans. Today we have another very, very special guest, a very old friend of mine who obviously worked together many, many years ago, still are in touch. We have the chairman, of course, of Microimage Holdings, Harsha Purasinghe, on the show with us on Meet the Tech Titans. Hi, Harsha.
Hi, Shaq. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Lovely to have you on the show. Harsha, obviously from where we obviously started with so many different things under Microimage, things have changed drastically. You've expanded wings, you're in different countries, your products of course are almost all over the world. Let's basically start off by talking about MIHCM, which of course is what we're going to be focusing on. And MIHCM has also established itself as a leader in digital HR solutions. Before you got into all that, Harsha, how was your journey at Microimage?
So in short, Microimage, without any doubt, is the most successful high school startup from the 90s. We started when there was no startup ecosystem. There was no such big IT industry as such. This was in the mid 90s. Straight out of school, we built a product at that time. The opportunity that we saw was there was a transition period from Microsoft DOS to Windows 3.1. So we built a bunch of single-use fonts and
that seems keyboard. Like medieval days you're
yes.
talking about.
So there was no internet, nothing. So I was sharing this story other day at the Global Entrepreneurship Week. At that time, my internet was British Council Library.
Right.
I ran to the library to figure out things and read the books, and that's how we learned. Then subsequently, internet came. So that's the era we started. From absolutely nothing and built to a multi-million-dollar business where we are today. So Microimage in that journey has transitioned into a holding company which holds MIHCM, which is our digital HR tech SaaS business.
Right.
And then we have another company called Futura Technology Labs, which holds very interesting IP around broadcast media and digital services. So yeah, that's how things have transitioned. So I'm straight out of school. I'm still running this.
That's fantastic. Fabulous story. Digital HR, of all things in the world, why digital HR?
Okay, so this thing happened. I'll give a bit of a context. How you're asking me about why digital HR or why we went into digital HR?
No, why did you go into digital
why
HR?
We went to digital HR. So we've been doing HR software since late 90s, starting with time attendance payroll software, then building the first web-based HR system back in the days, early 2000 I would say. And the pivotal or aha moment happened in 2013 when I visited Gartner Catalyst event in San Diego. I was listening to the opening keynote and the keynote speaker said social, mobile, cloud and analytics going to disrupt the whole world. And in the same time when I came back to San Francisco, I had this Uber experience and I saw the Airbnb experience and I realized the underlying platform architecture was these four forces. And at that time I saw that digital tsunami is going to erupt few years later, and we decided to build a complete digital HR platform because we have to move all the old clunky legacy HR processes to every process, starting from simple things like absence, leave management to things like talent management. Every experience has to transition into a digital experience.
Right.
Combining these key digital forces, I mean at that time AI was not even a big topic like today, but the analytics, the mobility experience and moving to the cloud and leveraging the power of insights, what's the thing? So why there was a no-brainer that era is erupting, and we want to be in the forefront helping organizations transition
Right.
from legacy human resources to digital. That's why we built a complete digital platform with a proper platform architecture which we can scale to many other countries beyond the country of origination. So we are now in about 20 plus, actually 22 to be precise, Asian countries, but we are planning to venture into Pacific as well, to NEZ zone in the near future.
Nice. Now, obviously, if you take a look at the pandemic, which we all went through 4 years ago, it also accelerated the adoption of hybrid work, and it pushed corporates and companies to rethink their working models and their strategies. What key trends do you see that's actually emerged with the whole pandemic push, and where the corporates who actually, Harsha, at that time before the pandemic really hit, everybody was sitting in their comfort zone.
Exactly.
Everyone was happy in their little bubble, and
Yes.
then here comes the pandemic, and then you're forced to do something for certain companies that actually were still living on the legacy systems.
Yes.
Into taking that step into the unknown,
Exactly.
the uncharted waters.
Yeah.
And it was completely alien to them.
Yes.
So how has this actually helped them adapt and sort of move through seamlessly?
Actually, I would say COVID accelerated
Exactly.
people who were sitting comfortably on legacy platforms with on-premise systems to transition to digital, because there's no way now. People have moved to remote work. How do you do stuff like how do you engage with the company? You can't just connect to the on-premise servers in your workplace. So actually that pushed the key trends we saw is immediately people started moving to collaboration platforms,
Right.
likes of the Zooms and Teams and that Google Meets kind of platforms, because that's the immediate need. Then how do you do accountability of your work? That's where we built products like Mia, which is an intelligent agents which checks you in the morning, checks you out in the evening, so you can be anywhere in the world, but at the end of the day it asks for what did you accomplish for the day, so we can continue to see how people are effectively contributing to work no matter where they are. So we built this Mia product as a result of COVID. So I call it a COVID baby. So the huge transition happens. That in terms of trends I saw is people moving to collaboration, then pushing for cloud-based ERP systems, HCM systems like ours, to adapting cybersecurity tools, because with that security become a priority, because it's not like you come into your workplace, which is a very secure place. You are connecting from various locations. So how do you secure the whole work experience? So that's the shift that happened, and with that momentum, lots of people, there's no brainer, everybody's now moving to transition to digital HR platforms.
Now, obviously, automation in HR, Harsha, automation, of course, it's revolutionizing industries. And as we can see with your system, HR is no exception also at the same time, right? How is automation actually reshaping the whole process of HR? Because HR traditionally was known to be a man-to-man, sort of cluster. It's human resources. Now the whole terminology of human resources seems a bit out of service when you have automation that's actually substituting that human for human resources. How has that actually taken off?
So I'll take from your last piece. Actually, automation enables that human to human connection more.
Right.
Because automation will take care of all your mundane tasks which people otherwise bog down and deal with, like processing payrolls to doing all these transfers, promotion, figuring out the reports that they wanted to present to the management. That takes so much of time.
It does.
Automation eliminates all that manual work, and even if you have a legacy sort of HR system, the way a legacy HR system delivers information is very different to a modern digital platform. When you get rid of all these mundane tasks taken care by the automation layer, you have more time to speak to people, do real work, figure out what upskilling, reskilling needs to happen, how do you bring the agility that is required for the organization as HR professionals?
Right.
I think those are the priorities that people can focus on when the automation takes care of all your mundane day-to-day tasks. So HR transitioned into a much broader strategic role with automation.
Now, if you're looking at HR per se, especially with your system, of course, it's made it so much easier for many corporates to, like you said, focus on their core business, and what was used to be taken care of by individuals because they were forced to do it is being done separately. But now one of the biggest stories that's up right now, of course, is we are in the age of big data, right? HR analytics is something that, of course, is always up for debate, the pros and the cons at the end of the day, right? How is this obviously becoming a pivotal role to improve employee engagement in corporate workplaces, right? One of the biggest issues that corporates are facing today is employee engagement. Gone are the days, Harsha, we used to wake up in the morning, we were excited to go to work because we want to make a change. Today, that shift is the fact that you're waking up in the morning, you have to go to work, otherwise you don't get paid. There's no engagement in corporates anymore, right? How is the system actually helping with employee engagement?
So it's a very debatable topic.
That's what I said.
And depends on the organization culture and the mode of work that you have. Some companies have gone full-blown back to office. Some companies are continuing hybrid. Some companies are complete remote. So different organization cultures and the mode of operations matters when it comes to the employee engagement, which is, in my view, is something to do with the leadership and the culture that you have built.
That was my next question.
More than the tools.
Yeah,
so the tools actually can enable to facilitate these. Now, in companies like ours, we do interesting things like regular pulse surveys,
right?
And not just, for example, randomly it asks me how I am feeling today,
right?
So I can give my feedback,
right?
And if I continue to give a negative feedback, it will send a signal to my team lead or my reporting person. Maybe time to have a chat with Harsha. So with this we can see what's the disconnect of that individual with the organization. So this is where the technology can come in, especially for a large organization. If they are geographically dispersed and working in a remote and hybrid manner, these are the kind of tools which can bring that element in, and also to do regular pulse surveys and find the pulse of the people.
Right.
For that, you can use these tools to improve the engagement elements where we are disconnected. What do we need to do more to solve these things? The other thing is the communication.
Right.
Digital technology and the tools can be used to constantly communicate things very proper. So, for instance, let's say there's a communication that you need to deliver where employees supposed to give the consent and say that they have read and understood. So these kind of things, in a good old day, you just send it on email. You don't know how many people really read the email, whether they really opened and taken action about it.